Streamverse. My name is Stephanie. That's about it. Today's my birthday. I expect happy birthdays from everybody.
I did not get any of this cake. I'd like the world to know that, and I'm not
You know what?
necessarily happy about it.
You can go to the store and get one of those Pepperidge Farm cakes. It probably came from the same gigantic cake. Because you can't make your own birthday cake. That is, well, it wasn't all that good. You can't make your own birthday cake. It's against the rules. So I had to buy it. Because my husband doesn't make anything. No.
I even completely agree with you. What an asshole. Hi, stream. I am Nightcrawler. Also, today I am also Kermit the Frog. Um, Happy birthday, Stephanie. Yeah, I was told to say that. I'm sorry. Um, I'm excited.
You were told by me to say that.
Cheer now today, and of course all the other people. Sure.
Hello, stream. I am Dan. Happy birthday, Stephanie. The cake is actually a lie. It wasn't there. So, um, yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna get some action tonight.
The enthusiasm in your
Resolution
voice
notice.
is misleading. Yeah, that's right. I have 3 names now. How's it going, world? Or 5 viewers, I think. 4. That's us. How's it going, us and or people in the VOD world? My name is Legitbox, playing Bex. So yeah, mostly it's a hello YouTube. Happy birthday, Mrs. Dungeon Master, by her appropriate title. And for those of you who are not yet aware, I have an elephant chalice. So basically, your life is not quite at that point. And I have a new puppy, so she just ran my girlfriend over.
I yelled.
Who has a huge codpiece.
Nope.
Nope.
Okay, stop.
Well, you did say Gaston, right?
That's all you need.
So are you off already? Yes.
She is not actually a lesbian.
Not what I was gonna guess.
Mind blown! Mind.
Feminist, yes, not a lesbian. Not excluding bisexual, but not a lesbian.
Thomas is very insecure about going out into the world, and he often will revert to verses from the Book of Light to make himself feel better.
I'll go ahead and I'll take it. I've got one. Unbeknownst to most people, back when Bex was a captain, he did have velvet pajamas. Not silk, specifically velvet. But those went down and sort of spawned part of his alcohol problems. So watch out when the velvet pajamas come back. Yeah, you know it.
Karen Hill has the most utmost respect for the animals in the region.
Isn't like we can eat them with respect?
He has respect for them. So before he kills them, he whispers a prayer.
As long as I can eat them, we're friends. So that's what matters.
As a dwarf, I expect bacon at some point.
This motherfucker that is hired us specifically said that he's going to be paying for our room and board. So I'm holding to it. No, he's paying for my shit, man.
Yeah, I put it under miscellaneous notes in the background section. I have one for at land and one for at sea. Dirt poor is at land and lavish is the only way to live on the sea.
Yep.
Please, yes, explain hero points. Gotcha. Where did you say that you wanted these lifestyle tuition or expenses at?
That's where I put mine on the background page. All of a sudden, you're a baller.
What's up? Strawberry 7456. Of course, I know who that is. We'll keep her at Strawberry. Yeah, yeah.
Um, After the first day, I go back and is Gaston basically hanging out at the inn there? Okay, I find him, and I tell him that I actually do need the room and board, so he needs to arrange that if he could. And then I'm going to go out and heal whoever needs healing in the city. Like if I can find a hospital or something where healing would be done or needed, and I'll use my spells to do that. And then I will offer my room and food to somebody that's living on the street.
It's not you there, Tom.
I am probably being impressed by Bex's ability to drink.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. It is worth noting that I'm drinking mildly less because I have to do a job. So instead of like blackout drunk, I'm mostly drunk
Maybe
all
we
the
could
time.
do some sort of like tour of all the different bars and like taste all the different ales that they have, and we'll compare them and compare notes
If
and just sort
Gaston's
of
paying,
bond as
yeah,
dwarves.
yeah, Max is not paying for it. Yeah. Well, if we're just doing the one drink a thing, I'm done with that. My reputation may or may not acquire us a lot of alcohol on the house, especially the divey ones where I'm allowed in. Is there really any
I'm wearing
response
a
to the?
bustier. Have we not
Yeah,
discussed this already?
I'm wearing ragged clothing. But I mean, does anyone really have a comment for the waving necrotic finger and the deep dancing invisible servant? Because Drunk Bex likes that combo. That's my approach to drinking. I'll just take your pants off and wave a necrotic finger in your face. Keeps me out of fights.
Tyrnell did indeed. Tyrnell found some lonely poor people living out on the streets in the in the alleys and whatnot, and he decided that they were very freaking hungry. So he went out into the forest and he found him some deers, and he skinned them and made sure that they were in proper order and cooked them up and fed them to the poor.
It's very good.
I'll do it without Thomas's approval or not.
That's slash me is how you talk as your character in Roll20's chat, by the way. Slash me. Okay. Did we receive any payment in advance? Yeah. Yeah. I'd like to point out that I have no equipment at all, be it food or bedroll or cot. So I'll look that up, but I'm just going to buy what I can from the starter pack for 50 silver. The essentials: food, blanket, water skin. All right. Nice. I would use it. Yeah. I'll just type out what I picked up.
Don't
But
worry about them.
blankets, tinderbox, flint and steel, that kind of stuff. I'll pick that up.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm perfectly fine with that.
No, not for me.
Rookies. He said rookies.
Okay.
So, begging your pardon, but what do you mean by lock of my hair? As I stroke the only facial hair, like bald, just my dwarven beard, staring at him. Oh, all right then. Just cut some of that off.
Tyrnell looks at him and says, in kind of, I don't know, an eyebrow raised, and he's
I've been
like,
muted this whole time.
"You want a lock of my hair? For
Yeah.
what reason?"
In case anyone gets the bright idea of stealing one of these crystals, our mages can use the lock of hair to expediently locate you. So it's completely required. If you refuse, then we can't work together.
It's like offer a mildly soggy strip of hair.
Oh. He doesn't. He has an orderly come up to collect it. He's got a little pouch for each person's. Takes yours, Thomas. You cut off a little bit.
Yeah.
Remind me, is Gaston he's a human, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Tyrnell looks at him and he says, "Have you no respect for elvenkind?"
I don't care if you're elf, dwarf, deity. You have to give up your hair because we can't have people stealing these. They're way too valuable.
Why wasn't this in the contract?
The contract?
Yes, why wasn't this in the bill mentioned when you signed up? You wanted me, remember? I didn't want you.
Yeah. This is just a formality. It's just a piece of hair.
It's a piece of hair, just a piece of hair.
Right.
Did you not? You have no.
Actually, that's actually not required. If even
that's okay.
You know what? You got a copper? I'll trade you a copper coin. It only has to be something that you owned.
Tyrnell reaches into his bag and just tosses him a copper.
All right, there you go. He flips you one back.
I'm just looking at you like, they took what I gave them, right? I don't even need that.
Well,
and I need that.
Tyrnell looks at him and kind of just, he looks up to the sky, kind of in a snobbish sort of way.
All right. All right. Now we got that little bit of business out of the way. That over there, that's Barlow. He points to a rugged-looking human wearing splint mail. He's got a long sword on his back and a pair of short swords on each hip. And he says he's in charge while you're working outside the city. And Tilda here, he points to a young female human wearing gray robes and studiously reading a book and not paying any attention to what's going on. She's already sitting in the front of one of the caravans. She's going to deal with Declan and procure anything you need for your return trip, in addition to completing the requisition for our league members. And the other guy going with you is that half elf over there on that wagon. And he points, and it's someone who's helping load stuff up, and it's a half elf, fairly average looking. He's oh, I lied. He's not helping loading. He's actually sitting in the dicky box of one of the wagons, which, in case you didn't know, a dicky box is the driver's seat on a wagon.
What is his name?
The half elf over there on the wagon. He's Marcus. He's pretty green like you folks, so you can help keep him in line. And he glances at Thomas specifically when he says that. And yeah, you guys should be good to go. There's food, water for you and the horses on the smaller cart. And I was hoping one of you guys is competent at steering a cart, a wagon. It's not hard, so one of you guys will have to do that, and you can figure out with Barlow all that.
So that's something he's saying, right?
Yep.
Is it too much different than like being a land boat. Because out in the open ocean, I know exactly what I'm doing. Sort of like flex a little bit. Just like, yeah.
He's kind of looks. He's like, I think it's a lot different than steering a boat.
I think perhaps you're wrong.
I haven't steered many large craft in my day, but I'm pretty sure it's a lot different.
I point at his codpiece and walk away.
Anyway, unless anyone stops him, he goes back to work, and he says, if you got any questions, Barlow will, he'll be in charge.
That being said, I'm walking over to one of the wagons and sitting in the driver's seat.
All right.
I'm gonna give this a shot.
Presumably not the one that Marcus was sitting in the dicky box of.
No, I'm sitting as
push
close
him out of the way.
to Tilda as possible.
All right. Yeah, she's in the smaller cart, which is your supply cart.
I thought it would be easier to start with.
Yeah. So yeah. So you get in the dicky box of the supply cart. She just pays you completely no attention. It looks like you can tell at a glance that she's studying some sort of spell book.
All right. It should be worth noting for anyone paying attention that as soon as I get up there, I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't even I'm just looking around. So.
What are these leather straps for? What's this lever here for? That's probably...
After a few minutes, it looks like I'm trying to unfurl the canvas on the back of the wagon, just set sail. So that's sort of what's going on with Bex right now.
Alright, we'll get
Hal is just looking at back. Looking at them, like...
You should move your hand to the other side, Jeremy, so you're not blocking your mic.
Oh, my bad. Looking at him, and he's just kind of chuckling to himself.
Alright.
Well, I have animal handling. I could perhaps try to help him unfurl the canvas and whisper directions to him. Like, we need to keep this on here to protect the supplies, but there's a break that you need to undo, and you need to convince the horses to move forward by gently wrapping them with the leather straps, and keep them on the road by pulling the straps from side to side.
At this time, Barlow, he's done yelling at Marcus. He's like, all right, we're ready to go. Everything's loaded. You guys, dwarf girl, dwarf man, half elf, elf. That's
wait, why am I dwarf girl, not dwarf woman? I'm significantly older than this dwarf man, and yet I'm dwarf girl?
I just stroke my beard softly.
Tyrnell walks up to him and he says, okay, we're gonna get one thing straight here, human. We're gonna go by our name basis here. I'm Tyrnell.
Alright. Good to meet you, Tyrnell.
I will allow my companions here to introduce themselves as they wish, but however, I will not be referred to as elf.
Alright, well that's good. But can we hurry this up? We gotta get moving. Daylight only lasts so long.
I just walk beside one of the wagons.
No introduction.
Pick one.
I just walk off.
Alright.
I will be referred to as Philly.
Alright, Philly. Do you know how to drive a cart?
I think that my companion here is thoroughly capable. I have full confidence in his abilities.
At that point,
but I'll sit behind him in this cart as a backup, just in case.
Yeah, when she says that, I turn and yell, "Set sail!" and let loose the canvas.
No, not the canvas. I thought you were going to say the brake. What the hell are you doing? And he's like,
"Set sail!"
One of the other people that are working out loading other carts grabs the sail before, you know what I mean? It's tied down to more than just at the front, so it doesn't.
One corner.
Right, it only partially comes undone.
Principle of the matter.
So actually, yeah, no one else. He just moves over to her. He starts tying it down. Get out of the cart, please.
No.
let someone who knows what they're doing drive this cart, please. We'll get there much
I
quicker.
point at Philly behind me.
All right, let her drive.
She can drive if I can sail it.
I'm not very fond of dicky boxes, to be honest.
Well, then you can be my backseat driver. And I just grab both the leather things, look at you, and say, "Where's that brake?"
It's on your
It's
right.
the lever by your right knee.
All right. I'll drive the front cart. Marcus will be beside me. You guys bring up the rear. We'll stop for lunch for 10 minutes when we get to the first crossroads, and you guys keep a lookout. Everybody good? Let's go. Barlow mounts up, starts leading the front wagon out on the way out of town.
Okay, so there's 3 wagons, right?
Right, 2 wagons with stuff that you're to deliver, and 1 wagon with food for you and the horses and water. And
Okay, so that last wagon is the one that Bex is driving, right?
Yeah.
correct.
The one with all of our stuff.
All of your stuff.
Well, your food too. Well, I guess you got some rations probably of your own also, but
Right.
Really, Stephanie's driving. I'm just holding on to the reins.
I'm on the second cart, and I'm riding shotgun to that side. To that.
with the half elf
Marcus.
with Marcus. Okay, he's pretty hyper. As soon as you sit down, he's like, "Oh hi, oh wow, you're an elf. Cool. My name's Marcus. Nice to meet you." He didn't say cool. Edit that.
You
But-
could have.
Looks at him and smiles, and yes, and he says, "Yes, I am indeed an elf, and I'm pleased to meet your acquaintance there, sir."
Oh, this is my dog Pup, and he points behind him in the wagon, and there's a kind of a German Shepherd-ish raggedy mutt that's just kind of sitting there panting.
You said his name is Pup?
Pup, P-U-P, Pup, the dog.
Pup.
Mhm.
Oh, well, hello, Pup. And he, Tyrnell reaches over and he kind of lets the dog smell his hand, and he, of course, strokes him gently.
Yep, he's a real friendly dog. Definitely, he's got one of those dogs that's always got a grin. So he's appreciative. He's not like mangy or anything, but he could use some help cleaning off his winter coat that's shedded. But otherwise, it's a cleanish dog.
Okay.
And yeah, Marcus, pretty much the whole time you're sitting there, he'll talk you up. He's going to ask you everything and anything about, like, do you actually know your parents? What's it like having, being an elf? What's it like trancing? All that stuff, everything.
Tyrnell, he'll keep to mind that he's gonna. I mean, he'll answer the questions that he feels that it doesn't go too deep into his history, because he just doesn't care to let somebody that he doesn't know all too well just information that they need to know, or that they don't need to know.
All right. Should move this way and put this here. You guys, Bex and Philly, are with Tilda, right? She eventually acknowledges, just kind of gives you a nod, takes a sip from her canteen, and goes back to reading. Unless you guys engage her, she's pretty much quiet.
I'm just gonna try and see what she's reading, because you don't need to look at the road when the horses are steering. So
It's definitely a spell book. If you took the time to actually study it before I don't know, how quick you read, you might flip the pages before you get through it. But it looks like basic spells, or cantrips, wizardry.
it's too fluffy for me, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
A lot about that foo-foo magic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's
probably
not
hit a
a
rock,
novel.
have to turn right back to to the road again because the horses can't guide the cart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna, while making sure he's on the road, I'm gonna let him learn by error, and mostly keep an eye on
Yes.
the forest around us once we get into a forested area.
All right. So for the terrain of the area you guys are traveling on, most of the time it's, I don't want to say desertous, but it's dry and not very. It's sparse as far as trees and stuff go. The way this particular area, this region is once you get into the hills, which will probably be in a couple days, there's going to be a lot more in the way of like dense forestry. So it's a day or two on this particular road, on the Suvan Road that travels the entire distance from Crystal Gate to Rua. It's mostly a well-maintained cobble, occasional gaps of well-trod dirt. Yeah. And for some reason I just heard some weird echo, but it's cleared now. Okay.
I have a great opportunity to just completely total the cart in one go.
Not yet.
Yes. Oh, I mean, I'm sure I could figure out if I actually tried, but I'm still convinced that I could just unfurl the canvas and sail it faster. So.
You would need to unfurl it from the back end anyway. You realize that to catch the draft to push us forward?
That's semantics. Boat's a boat.
A boot. Can I get a percentile roll from everybody? D100. Alright. Thomas, while you're just walking alongside the carts, right?
Yep.
Do you like do anything specific other than walking along the carts, just kind of taking in the views?
I'd probably walk along the front cart and talk to the guy that's basically leading us, and just ask him questions about the job.
All right. So, any specific questions, or just like generic, like how many jobs a week, stuff like that, or?
Just generic stuff like what are these crystals used for? Where are we taking them? Stuff like that.
All right. So for this particular delivery to the smith, Declan's come up with what he thinks will be a really helpful tool for him in the field of smithing. Basically, he's designed what's going to be the first pneumatic machinery, so you can be able to do presses and drills and shit if it works. So he kind of, Barlow's not really sure. He's like, I don't know. It sounds like witchcraft to me, but if it pays, and if this guy can make better armor because of, then good for him. Yeah, and once you guys, it only takes a good 10 minutes to actually get out of town. Once you start getting out of town, going down the road, you pass quite a bit of people coming into town. It's fairly heavy traffic this time of day. One of the people that you pass kind of catches your eye, as he's you don't really see him. He's wearing like cloaks and hooded cloak and everything, and it's real dark. And as he passes you on his cart that he's driving, he kind of looks at you, and you catch his eye, and he just grins and starts laughing, and the cart just continues.
All right. Crazy guy.
That's what happens when you leave the safety of wherever it is you came from.
Yup. I'm very glad you're the one who rolled that, just for that reason. First,
I do also want to say that while I'm writing on this part here, I'm also actively looking ahead just to make sure there's no surprises coming up.
Okay.
So, and I will also have my bow drawn, and kind of, ready for anything that's coming up.
It's like sitting on your lap or something like that. One hand on it. Gotcha.
The real danger is going to be when Vex figures out that there's a second break. and I can just unload and go. That's the real danger. You're looking the wrong way, buddy. Just saying.
Yeah, watch that cart behind you. That could be dangerous.
Philly can't stop both hands.
He's like, what happens if I just yank these reins real hard a couple times? Give them a good whip. I've seen this in movies. Oh,
Eventually, we're going to draft this wagon.
you're going to start drafting? Yeah, I'm not sure about that. All right.
It's going to work. We're smaller. We'll be right within their wind tunnel.
Yeah.
Our horses won't have to work as hard.
Well, there's only one horse on your cart.
Okay.
There's two on each of the... Oh, I'm sorry. I lied. There's two horses on your cart. Only one of us pulling it. The other is followed behind as a spare, if necessary. Or
That's the
for some
pushing
reason someone
horse.
needs to be a ride. Not a pushing horse. Bex really spent way too much time underground and at sea.
Oh yeah. Telling you, man, the rear rudder is picking up slack. So.
Anyway. Alright.
We should name our horses Bex.
I already did. We have rear rudder and mainmast. So. I don't know what you named them, but.
Alright. So basically, you guys get to the first crossroads. By the time you get there, the traffic is really starting to die down. You're not passing there as many other carts and people walking into town. You set up. Barlow gets into the wagon that you guys are driving, and busts out some food, passes out some rations. If everybody, just offers it to you for a second. If you don't take it, he moves on to the next person. It's just like some jerky and some dry potatoes.
There we go.
Deep fried dried potatoes?
Not as exciting anymore.
Just taters.
They're not
I like scrounge around in a blanket and pull out like a tin cup with a bent spoon. My mess kit. Oh yeah, I'm ready for this jerky. Just sitting there like, bring it.
Yep.
I own something now. I'm excited.
Anything special? Anything anybody wants to do or set up like for future reference? If we have a break, anybody has any rituals they need to, like, if any characters have any like religious or like prayer at certain times or any of that kind of stuff.
Bex does. At the rising high sun and the setting sun, I do my little prayers, and then during downtime, I'm working on sewing a new pirate flag since mine went down to the bottom of Davy Jones. So I bought 3 blankets, and only 2 of them are going to get used. The third one is going to be a flag.
Gotcha.
Going to take forever.
Philly tends to not go as far out as she should when she takes potty breaks.
Nice.
Alright, there's a dwarf
aroma.
squatting over there.
Wait, you leave camp to do that?
That's a good point.
I just do simple prayers before every meal.
Alright. Anybody got any problems with some fast forward?
Nope.
Negative.
Alright. Your first full day of travel goes by with no real issues. Bex managed to drive the cart fairly competently. This is not my notes. Here we go.
He's like reading from the wrong one. Bex did not drive the car.
No, Bex crashed. How did I know Bex was going to be driving the cart? I just knew. No. Actually, I expected Turnell to be driving the cart. If I'd actually factored that into my planning, I would have failed. Critical fail. Barlow goes to you, Turnell, and says, do you want to scout ahead as it's starting to get close to dusk and see if you can find us a good place to camp? I don't want to go too far off the road if we can help it. Slow us down.
Sure.
Alright. Have at it. He
Here
gets,
now
gets
hops
back in the
on,
wagon.
maybe decides to go ahead. I mean, he gets up there, gets a distance off, kind of scouts it out. Want a perception check? Is that what you're asking?
I believe it's perception in this edition that I want.
Alrighty, well, you can get one.
There's a survival check.
Oh yeah, survival is also.
Oh, well, I have advantage on that. Oh, on
It's the
perception.
same, right? Yeah, you got the same modifier. Oh, you have advantage on perception for.
I have advantage on perception and survival.
Oh, okay. You have advantage, or you have proficiency.
Proficiency.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right. All right. So you got a 5. You check. You go in and go up ahead. You go up maybe 100 yards, and you see like a couple, 3 or 4 trees that are kind of clumped together. That's about 100 yards off the road. 100 yards up, 100 yards left.
Okay.
It's all about the geometry.
A squared plus B squared.
Yep. And yeah.
Wait, I have to make a math break. Today is International Pi Approximation Day. Yeah, and Damien's disappointed in me. 22 divided by 7 is the approximation for pi in fractions. You can continue.
And,
Knowledge bomb.
and now you know.
The more you know.
Oh, you got that in unison. Good job. Well played. All right. Yeah. So,
Anywho,
do you want to keep looking, or you think that's a good enough?
I am going to keep looking. Yes.
All right. Are you looking for anything specific?
No, not anything specific. I just want to make sure we're gonna be okay. Not just a little bit of clump. I kind of want to look for a little bit more secluded area.
All right. So you go up maybe another few hundred yards, and you don't really find anything. So you go another few hundred yards, and you find kind of where another road kind of meets this road. There looks to be like an old shelter building that's starting to fall down, but it's the walls are still intact and part of the roof is still there.
Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start sneaking over towards that shack to see if I can hear anything or even possibly see
Give me
if anything there.
give me a stealth check.
Stealth? You got it, boss.
Boom! You most likely very successfully sneak up to this.
Sneak the fuck out of that building.
Right, that building didn't see you coming.
Oh no, that building.
I use sneak attack on the door.
And I assume you're going to want to make a perception check once you get within range to possibly hear anything. So go ahead and do that too. All right. GM roll. No, just kidding. No, you don't hear anything. It seems quiet within. Maybe a little bit of some scurrying rats or something like that.
Okay, so there's nothing inside when I look in?
You look in, like I said, the near corner of the building is kind of starting to fall in on the roof, but the other half is pretty clear. It's not big. Like, if you guys were all to be in here, you know, could reach out and touch each arms to each other if you stood in a circle and just be up against the walls.
Kumbaya, my lord.
Yep. So if you guys want to do that for some reason, but it's big enough everyone could sleep in there and actually be under what's left of the roof.
Alright, so I think, do I see anything off towards the distance on the road, or how do I see like the tracks if they're recently traveled on?
It's definitely recently traveled a lot. You're still close enough to Crystal Gate, and this branches off to be to your north towards another small settlement that's a little farming community. So there's people coming from there and to Crystal Gate all the time, delivering, you know, crops and fresh vegetables. But you're maybe 50 yards from both roads on either side.
Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna head back towards the caravan that we have going on, and I'm gonna relay my findings to Barlow and let him decide what he wants to go, where he wants to go.
It's like, oh, okay, I know what building you're talking about. I've seen it before. That should be all right. Good job. We'll set up there tonight.
I am not going to be sleeping in the building. I will be hanging out in one of the trees, just kind of scouting from there.
Okay. Yeah. So you guys get up to this little building that I described already, and you kind of pull the wagons around to the back of it, you know, where it's not quite visible from either road.
I do want to mention this though. I'm branching off from them. I'm going to the same place in that same area as them, but I'm going to let the caravan go ahead, and I'm going to go, you know, within the forest region, you know, in the brush.
Okay. All right. So yeah, like I said, you start pulling the caravan around. Tyrnell's MIA, basically, for most of you. You probably wouldn't have seen how or where he went exactly, being somewhat stealthy. And Barlow starts giving instructions. He's like, go ahead and clean off some spaces in there. He points to Marcus and Bex. Go in there, find a space to put everybody's bedrolls, clean it up a little bit. Philly, right? Why don't you get some of those, couple of those food crates down, and Thomas, you can help her get the water down. And he goes over, puts his hand up to let Tilda help her down off the cart, and he's like, why don't you go on in and have a seat, dear?
So,
Are we lighting a fire?
Are we lighting a fire, Thomas?
I'm carrying stuff
Bex?
like a boss.
Bex will go light a fire. There's one less piece of wood on the door, or some sort of loose wood. I don't like whether it's a stick or a plank.
Well, there's fallen pieces from the busted up roof too.
Then one of those is now missing, and so is another tattered string from my leather jacket, and something is inside cleaning. My unseen servant is in there doing my task while I'm outside, so I guess I can make the fire.
So as soon as Tilda sees this, she's got questions. She looks around, and she looks at you, Thomas, and she's like, "Are you doing that?"
No. Mm-mm.
And then where'd that elf fella go? And she's talking in kind of a quiet tone.
I just
is he
keep
doing
carrying
that?
stuff. I breeze right by her.
Who casts Unseen Servant or whatever? Yeah, Unseen Servant. That's the common term for it.
Yeah, unseen servant. I point at Philly.
He kind of gets real confused.
I'm gonna twirl my sideburn hair in my finger.
Are you a wizard also? Well, I'm not a wizard yet. I'm training. I'm trying to be a wizard. I had to stop to feed my family and to get some money. My dad can't work anymore. So, are you a wizard?
Not me. I like to kill things to death.
She's even more confused. Like, oh, okay. I didn't think you were a wizard. Wait, you like to... Oh, God.
Specifically animals.
Okay. Who cast that? Was it... It wasn't you, was it? And she asked you, Bex. You didn't do that, did you?
Do what, specifically?
The unseen servant that's cleaning the barn.
It's probably the elf. Elves, pointy ears, not trustworthy.
Okay. I'll have to talk to him later. And she goes and finds a dry area and sits down, gets her spell book out, and starts reading again. You guys clean up, unload, get everything ready, make a little fire in the corner, I assume, where there's an opening.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and make that while my unseen servant does manual labor.
If anyone wants their food done not burnt on the outside, rare in the middle, you're going to have to try and do it yourself, because that's the only way I know how to cook food.
Fear not, Captain Bex is here. Also, who brought spices? Because I don't have any.
I don't have spices.
Well,
We don't
you
have spices
don't
in
even
church.
have taste
Believe in
buds.
that shit.
To be
Actually,
fair, as a
I
human,
have a mess kit.
Yeah, you don't even have taste buds.
We just eat bread.
bread's good. Tyrnell, while they're doing all that, you're basically just keeping a perimeter, keeping an eye out, right?
Right. I'm in a tree.
Alright.
I'm spotting.
Alright.
I wonder if I can cook.
Did you
food
remember to put your pad on?
Did I remember to put my what on?
I got the joke. Just move on, Jeremy. Just move on, buddy.
Wait a second. That is.
Yep. So, anyway, Barlow,
Yeah.
after everybody's set up, bedrolls are laid out, fire's going, the other food is not just jerky and potatoes that were sent with you, is a little bit of, semi-fresh vegetables, a little bit of cured ham. So you guys start figuring out who's cooking and who's not, and Barlow's like, all right, Marcus and Bex, Bex, you guys first watch, Thomas and Philly second watch, I'll take third watch, Tyrnell, you can take the last watch.
Well, she doesn't even know where I'm at.
Where's Tyrnell?
Tyrnell's not here. He left.
Never trust a pointy ear.
He goes outside, he starts looking around.
I am.
You see him looking around, he's like, where did he go?
Yeah.
Is he yelling for him or anything?
He's not like yelling, but he's like mumbling loudly, where the hell is that damn elf?
What I'm going to do is I'm going to purposely notch an arrow and I'm going to draw it back and I'm going to shoot it in his general direction. I'm not hitting him, but I'm kind of aiming towards to kind of get his attention.
And
Alright.
that's where the campaign stopped.
We're under attack.
Give me an attack roll anyway, just in case.
Just give me an attack roll.
Alright, you're good. You don't hit him. What the fucking, where is he? He like kind of looks at the way the angle the arrow came in and he's like, what was your last stealth check? Let's use that. Oh, it was really high. Oh.
22.
Let's oh yeah, I should switch scenes. And Barlow. Nope. Perception. He's got a chance. Yeah, he failed. All right. So he more or less looks in your almost exact area, but he's like throws his hands up. What the hell?
Great. Don't you? I don't. Oh, fuck.
You know what?
Tyrnell's gonna do an outhoot toward him.
Okay, so that gives him a little bit better idea where you're at. He's like, well, is that him?
Yeah.
He starts walking in your general direction. He's like, hey, Tyrnell.
I'm going to say, don't look up, don't look at me, don't even don't say a word. You can just look around like you're taking a piss. That is great. Wonderful. Now, what can I help you with?
You're taking fourth watch.
I think I'll be fine. I'll be watching it. Tell the others that they can just sleep.
That's not how we do things. You're on fourth watch.
Don't trust me?
No, that's not how we do things. We gotta have a regimented system. You're an elf. You don't need that much sleep. You don't even sleep, right? I don't ever understand.
Exactly. That's why I said go
But-
ahead and let the others sleep.
You do that whole mesmerize thing. So while you're doing that, everyone else is on watch. Your fourth watch. Do whatever you want until then.
I will stay here.
All right. Fourth watch. And he walks away. There's food.
I don't
It's
care.
cooking.
I don't care.
Whatever. And he's
Just to clarify, it's burning. I don't know if you saw chat or not.
what? And then no.
There was 2 of us cooking.
All right. No one took over after he walked away from the burning
I
food.
would have made sure it came off once it got good and thoroughly crusted on the outside.
All right.
Without catching fire.
I'm sure that's good enough for the group of you. Barlow really doesn't care either.
I'm gonna eat it.
Marcus is kind of thinking, he's like, it's tough.
Yeah, the Marcus we know wouldn't be like that.
This
It's-
ain't him. This guy's
it's-
wiry and small and half elf.
Anything is better than crackers and cheap rum. So,
But not better than good rum.
no, I mean,
Okay.
good rum is better than burnt dinner.
Okay.
But crackers and cheap rum, I'll take whatever this slop is
Alright.
that I started cooking and left.
Alright. We're at our first break. I didn't even notice. That was quick hour. So we'll take a break. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. So stay tuned. And yeah. We'll be